Today's Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiret Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhoti Naistiki. Hare Krishna. Today we continue in Canto first, chapter first, text 3. The chapter's name is Questions by the Sages. Shloka number 3. Nigama kalpataroho galitam phalam.
Nigama kalpataroho galita phalam. Everyone please unmute and repeat.
Nigama kalpataroho galitam phalam.
Nigama kalpataroho galitam phalam.
Yuga mukhata amrita drava sanyutam.
Shuka mukhat amruta drava sanyutam.
Pibata bhagavatam rasam alayam.
Pibata bhagavatam
rasam alayam.
Muhu aho rasika bhuvi bhavuka.
Muhu raho
rasika bhuvi bhavuka.
Nigama kalpataroho
Nigama kalpataroho galitam phalam.
Shukata amrita
Mukhat amruta drava sanyutam.
Pibata bhagavatam
Pibata bhagavatam
rasam alayam.
rasam
Muhu aho rasika
aho rasika
bhuvi bhavuka.
bhuvi bhavuka. Online, everyone read together now.
Nigam kalpataroho galitam phalam. Mukata amrita drava sanyutam.
Pibata
Pibata
bhagavatam rasam bhuvi bhavuka.
Once again, everyone please read. Now we'll only listen. Please.
One by one.
Nigamakalpataror galitam palam mugat amritam travasamyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka.
Hari Bol. Who has not read? Rajeshwari Mataji, Khushi Mataji, Mala Mataji, Poonam Mataji. Please try to speak. These are very important shlokas. Please try to unmute. Okay, please repeat after Mataji. Nigama kalpataroho. Everyone repeat after Mataji.
Nigama kalpataror
Galitam phalam.
Galitam
phalam
Shukha mukhata amrita
Shuka mukhata
amrita
drava sanyutam.
drava sanyutam
savasayutam
Pibata bhagavatam
pibata
pibata
bhagavatam
bhagavatam
rasam alayam.
rasam alayam
alayam
Muhu aho rasikaha
muhu aho
muraho rasika
bhuvi bhavukaha.
bhuvi
bhuvi bhavukaha.
Word to word meaning. Nigam, the Vedic literature. Kalpataroho, the desire tree. Galitam, fully matured. Phalam, fruit. Shuka, Srila Shukdev Goswami, the original speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. Mukhata, from the lips of. Amrita, nectar. Drava, semi-solid and soft and therefore easily swallowable. Samyuta, perfect in all respects. Pibata, do relish it. Bhagavatam, the book dealing in the science of the eternal relation with the Lord. Rasam, juice, that which is relishable. Alayam, until liberation or even in a liberated condition. Muhu, always. Aho, oh. Rasikaha, those who are full in the knowledge of Melos, Bhuvi, on the earth, Bhavuka, expert and thoughtful. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. वो expert and thoughtful men really Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literature. It emanates from the lips of the Shukdev Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarine juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवान् च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांच। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देशतारिणे वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा। once again obeisance to all. निगम कल्पतरो गलितं फलम शुक मुखात अमृत द्रव संयुतम पिबत भागवतम रसम आलयम मुहु अहो रसिका भुवि भावुका। Purport. In the two previous shlokas, means first and second, it has been definitely proved that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the sublime literature which surpasses all other Vedic scripture due to its transcendental qualities. It is transcendental to all mundane activities and mundane knowledge. In this shloka, it is stated that Srimad Bhagavatam is not only superior literature, but is the ripened fruit of all Vedic literature. In other words, it is the cream of all Vedic knowledge. Means Bhagavatam is the Vedic knowledge, cream of all Vedic knowledge. Considering all this, patient and submissive hearing is definitely essential. And so patience and submissive hearing is important. With great respect and attention, one should receive the message and lessons imparted by the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Vedas are compared to the desire tree because they contain all things knowable by man. They deal with mundane necessities as well as spiritual realization. The Vedas contain regulated principles of knowledge covering social, political, religious, economic, military, medicinal, chemical, physical, and metaphysical subject matter, and all that may be necessary to keep the body and soul together. Above and beyond all these are specific direction for spiritual realization. Regulated knowledge involves a gradual raising of the living entity to the spiritual platform, and the highest spiritual realization is knowledge that personality of Godhead is the reservoir of all spiritual taste or rasas. Every living entity beginning from Brahma, the firstborn living being within the material world, down to the insignificant and desires to relish some sort of taste derived from sense perception. These sensual pleasures are technically called rasas. Such rasas are of different varieties. In the revealed scripture, the following 12 varieties of rasas are enumerated. 1. Rudra, anger. 2nd, Adbhuta, wonder. 3rd, Shringar, conjugal love. 4th, Hasya, comedy. 5th, Veera, chivalry. 6th, Daya, mercy. 7th, Dasya, servitorship. 8th, Sakya, fraternity. 9th, Bhayanak, horror. 10, Bivassa, shock. 11, Shanta, neutrality. 12, Vatsalya, parenthood. The sum total of all these rasas is called affection or love. Primary such signs of love are manifested in adoration, service, friendship, parental affection, and conjugal love. And when these five are absent, love is present indirectly in anger, wonder, comedy, showry, fear, shock, and so on. For example, when a man is in love with a woman, the rasa is called conjugal love. But when such love affairs are disturbed, there may be wonder, anger, shock, or even horror. Sometimes love affairs between two persons culminate in ghastly murder scenes. Such rasas are displayed between man and man, between animal and animal. There is no possibility of an exchange or rasa between a man and animal or between a man and any other species of living being within the material world. The rasas are exchanged between members of the same species, but as far as the spirit souls are concerned, they are one qualitatively with the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the rasas were originally exchanged between the spiritual living being and the spiritual whole, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The spiritual exchange or rasa is fully exhibited in spiritual existence between living beings and the Supreme Lord.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, in the previous two shlokas, we have been introduced to the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam and how Srimad Bhagavatam is not like any other literature. So, that is why it all started with offering obeisances to Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, direction of his qualities, and how he is always free from illusory representation of the material world. And hence it was explained that we should be meditating upon Shri Krishna. The second part was that we should, what I'll say, reject all religious activities which are materially motivated. And it is Srimad Bhagavatam which helps us do this activity. And hence, it ended with the importance of Shushrusha. That is, we should attentively and submissively hear the message of Bhagavatam. And by the culture of this knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within the heart. So in continuation with that, now it is being explained further how this is the most important knowledge. Now, it was a season of mango fruits. So many of you would have had mangoes, right? Now, mango is available in raw form as well as in the ripened form, which is more tastier. The raw mango or the ripened mango, which is sweet and nourishable. Definitely the ripened mango. You think of any fruit over the world, in the universe, in the cosmos, as long as it is raw, it may be okay. But the moment it is ripened, it becomes very tasty. It becomes very delicious. So here, this whole Srimad Bhagavatam is said, it is the ripened fruit of all the Vedic literature. It is the mature fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literatures. And it is said that this fruit has become even more tasteful because it is being said that it is told by Sri Shukdev Goswami. Now, Bhagavatam already we have seen its importance in the first two shlokas. So it was proven that its nectarian juice was relishable for all, including related soul. But because now it is coming out of the lips of Sri Shukdev Goswami, this is becoming even more tasteful. Many times you find that the mango juice is tasteful, Mother sometimes adds elaichi powder. She adds sugar, and the taste becomes more relishable. So similarly, this Srimad Bhagavatam was made more tastier when it was uttered by Sri Shukdev Goswami. Srila Prabhupada is giving a detailed explanation on why it is being said so. So he starts off with few very basic aspects in the summary part. If you read the summary in detail, he says that Bhagavatam surpasses all literatures, all Vedic scriptures because of transcendental nature. So when it is a transcendental nature, it means that it is not going to be involved with any kind of mundane activities or mundane issues or mundane qualities. And so it is a ripened fruit. In fact, it is the cream of all Vedic knowledge. So many a times we boil milk, and once the milk is boiled, what we get at the top is the cream of the milk. And that cream is always more tastier, more thicker, more relishable. So similarly, this Vedic literature, it is like a milk. But then Bhagavatam is the cream of that milk. So it is more important. So patient, submissive hearing. Prabhupada is stressing on this again. Patient and submissive hearing is important. And that is why we request everyone that whenever we are having this shloka, please narrate, unmute yourself, narrate the shlokas. Because it's not important that we only keep on hearing. We should hear also submissively, patiently, and try to recite the shlokas. Thirdly, when we are trying to understand this message and lesson imparted by Srimad Bhagavatam, we should have great respect and attention. Because what we get out of Srimad Bhagavatam is not something which we'll get anywhere else. Because this is the most important literature. See, Vedas are desire trees because they contain everything that is to be known by the knowledge, what is to be known by man. But then Srimad Bhagavatam is summarizing all of it and giving the most important thing to be known by it. And hence, we need to have regulative knowledge. So what does regulative knowledge means? Regulative knowledge means that there has to be a gradual raising of the living entity to the spiritual platform and enabling him to have the highest spiritual realization, which is the knowledge that personality of Godhead is the reservoir of all rasas, all spiritual tests. So in the part, we have seen that there are 12 kinds of rasas. And as you go through this Srimad Bhagavatam, you will find that almost all of them are covered. But then when all 12 are taken together, what is coming out is affection or love. And that gets manifested in adoration for Krishna, service, friendship, parental affection, or conjugal love. The 5 kinds of relationship which we can establish with Krishna. So Dasya Ras, Sakhya Ras, and all those things. So Prabhupada is also giving one more important aspect in the purport, that this rasa is originally meant to be exchanged between spiritual entity and Krishna. See, rasas cannot be exchanged between two different species. They are always intraspecies, sorry. So the question comes, we are Jiva, Krishna is Krishna. How is it possible? The answer is we are both spiritual. We are not this body. So with these spirit souls are concerned, we are qualitatively one with Krishna. So with these rasas that we are talking about, the 12 rasas or the 5 Vatsalya ras, Sankhya ras, Dasya ras, those rasas, important 5 rasas of love, they can be exchanged only between the Jiva and Krishna. And this exchange is exhibited when the living being is coming to the spiritual existence and considering the relationship with Krishna. Many times we feel that we need to be happy. So what is happiness? Where do we get that happiness? Those all things we discuss further in the purport now by Srila Prabhupada.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is therefore described in the Shruti mantras, Vedic hymns as the fountainhead of all rasas. When one associates with the Supreme Lord and exchange one's constitutional rasa with the Lord, the living being is actually happy. This Shruti mantra indicates that every a living being has its constitutional position, which is endowed with a particular type of rasa to be exchanged with the personality of Godhead. In the liberated condition only, this primary rasa is experienced in full. In the material existence, the rasa is experienced in the perverted form, which is temporary. And thus, the rasas of the material world are exhibited in the material form of Raudra, anger, and so on. Therefore, one who attains full knowledge of these different rasas, which are the basic principle of activities, can understand the false representations of the original rasas which are reflected in the material world. The learned scholar seeks to relish the real rasa in the spiritual form. In the beginning, he desires to become one with the supreme. Thus, less intelligent transcendentalist cannot go beyond this conception of becoming one with the spirit's whole without knowing of the different rasas. In this shloka, it is definitely stated that spiritual rasa, which is relished even in the liberated stage, can be experienced in the literature of the Srimad Bhagavatam due to its being the ripened fruit of all Vedic knowledge. By submissively hearing this transcendental literature, one can attain the full pleasure of his heart's desire. But one must be very careful to hear the message from the right source. Srimad Bhagavatam is exactly received from the right source. It was brought by Narad Muni from the spiritual world and given to his disciple Sri Vasudev. The latter, in return, delivered the message to his son Sri Shukdev Goswami, and Shukdev Goswami delivered the message to Maharaj Parikshit just 7 days before the king's death. Srila Shukdev Goswami was a liberated soul from his very birth. He was liberated even in the home of his mother, and he did not undergo any sort of spiritual training after his birth. At birth, no one is qualified, neither in the mundane nor in the spiritual sense. But Sri Shukdev Goswami, due to his being a perfectly liberated soul, did not have to undergo an evolutionary process for spiritual realization. Yet, despite his being a completely liberated person situated in the transcendental position above the three material modes, he was attracted to this transcendental rasa of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is adored by liberated soul, who sing the Vedic hymns. The Supreme Lord's pastimes are more attractive to liberated souls than to mundane people. He is of necessity not impersonal because it is only possible to carry on transcendental rasa with a person. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are narrated, and the narration is systematically depicted by Srila Shukdev Goswami. Thus, the subject matter is appealing to all classes of person, including including those seek liberation, whose those who seek to become one with the supreme whole.
Hare Krishna. So, in the second part, you are coming across few important principles. This is Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. So we are told that there can only be unhappiness, there can only be sorrow in this material world. But then there is an opportunity to become happy. But unfortunately, we try to seek happiness in wrong direction. Srimad Bhagavatam makes us understand that when one associates with the Supreme Lord and exchanges one's constitutional rasa with the Lord, then the living being is actually happy. See, Yashomati Maya, Yashoda Maya, she became happy when she exchanged the Vatsalya Ras with Krishna. So, when she got herself situated in that position, she got the highest happiness. So, similarly, each one of us has a particular constitutional position with Krishna. And if we get ourselves exchanging that with Krishna, maybe Shringar, that you would like to decorate Krishna, or maybe service, you would like to serve Krishna, or Sakhya, which is little difficult. But then, whatever it is, When we go into that original position, then we get happiness. But then that is possible only when we are in a liberated condition. So the primary rasa can be experienced only in liberated condition, which is mentioned here. So we have to first try to achieve that condition. So we'll get that. But to get that, there are steps, there's a ladder which we need to climb slowly and steadily. And that is why those who are learned, those who are gyanis, they try to seek the real rasa in the spiritual form. Because spiritual rasa, which is released in the liberated stage, is difficult. What Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport is same rasa can be experienced in the literature of Srimad Bhagavatam, because it is the ripened fruit of all Vedic knowledge. So see, we get an experience. So many a times before undergoing or joining any job, we have internship so that we get little experience. We come to know whether it is right or wrong, whether we will be happy or not. So similarly, in order for us to understand what is our real rasa, this Srimad Bhagavatam is going to help. Because when we read it, listen to it, we get that same kind of a experience. So by submissively hearing this transcendental literature, we can attain the full pleasure of our heart. And that is why it is said that this literature, which has the Supreme Lord's pastimes, is not attractive to the mundane people. Only those who seek liberation, who are liberated, they get attracted to it. And here we find that this Bhagavatam was something which was being narrated by Sri Shukadeva Goswami himself. And Shukadeva Goswami was a completely liberated person. And it was not that he was saying of this knowledge out of his own will. He had got it in parampara from his guru. So that parampara is explained. That Narad Muni ji gave it to Vyasdev ji, and Vyasdev ji gave it to Shukdev Goswami ji, and Shukdev ji gave it to Parikshit Maharaj. And then this whole thing was repeated by Sud Goswami ji to Sud Goswami ji to Shaunak Adi Rishi. And that exactly is what we are all reciting in parampara, reading in parampara. So why this literature is the ripened fruit? Why it is more relishable? To understand all these questions, we need to join again tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhayeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.